Now, as far as cliffs go, this one is exceptional. You could jump off a lot worse cliffs than this one. So a guy I met yesterday, Bill, at the church. This is Horseshoe Bend. It's quite famous. But anyways, Bill was telling me he knows two people who jumped off of this cliff. It's one of these places where the scale of it is hard to comprehend just sitting here. See, there's a boat way down there. Also see there's a couple kayaks down where the boat is. I mean, it's kind of like being in the Grand Canyon. It's amazing. There was my spot last night, and it was chilly. It's like a little wind channel blowing through here, and so it was kind of piercing. But a cool spot, nonetheless. So I'm in Flagstaff, Arizona. On Mars Hill. This is Mars Hill overlooking Flagstaff. So after leaving Horseshoe Bend, just leaving the parking lot, I got onto the highway and I got picked up by a native fellow. And so he drove me down the road a ways. And I ended up walking from there the rest of that day and ended up camping out in like a ravine type thing. It was actually the first time I was able to put up my hammock. And I strung it up between two rocks because there's just no trees around Page and south of Page. Like no trees at all. I mean, yeah. See, Arizona, when you think of Arizona, you don't think of pine trees. This really reminds me of BC and Alberta, Canada. I mean, yeah. You don't think of this when you think of Arizona. I don't. And then, so I had a pretty good sleep that night in my hammock after sleeping on rocks and sand and ground for however many weeks that was. That was a good sleep. I had a weird dream though. I had a really weird dream. I actually woke up from this dream like yelling no. That's not usual. I don't know if I've ever done that. I'm sure I probably have. So after that sleep, and I got on the road again that morning, and I got picked up by a guy in a 1974 van that's probably not roadworthy at all. It felt very floaty. We were in a boat, and he had the chillest chihuahua I've ever seen in my life, Romeo. And Romeo just chilled on my bed. But yeah, I'll put up the thumbnail of Romeo. Romeo was awesome. And so this guy didn't even have any money. So here he picks me up And he's like, well, I don't think I have enough gas to get to Flagstaff. He's like, well, how much money do you got? And I'm like, I have $18, I think. I had $18. And he's like, oh, well, with your $18, and I think he had seven. He's like, we should make it. And I'm like, well, I only have $18. And, I don't have, so this kind of, I was just like, yeah. I gave him eight. I gave him $8. And we made it to Flagstaff, barely. But we made it. I mean, I'm here. And I've actually been here for a week. So, over a week. And I just shaved with this camera, which isn't ideal, but I did. So I really wanted to look respectable. So this is the best it gets for right now with what I got. So yeah, the guy driving the van, I didn't actually get his name, but he was a real cool guy. Very generous dude. Gave me something to eat. And yeah, we just kind of chilled out and chatted. He had open heart surgery and came out of it quite altered, he said. And one of the things he said was like how emotions and whatever, how they say they really come from my heart. He's like, now I really get it. It's like I just feel it in my heart. And I can definitely relate to that. I've had many, many moments of pouring out my heart to people. Sob, crying, bawling, and yeah, I feel it right in my heart. Just this release. It's quite amazing. After going like your whole adult life without crying and then bawling your eyes out is it's an amazing feeling. I highly recommend it. So yeah, being in Flagstaff, so it's exactly 5 years ago that I was in Flagstaff on the same journey, carrying the same bag. So I've been in a very reflective state of mind. It's like, well, what's changed? What hasn't? A lot has changed. So 5 years ago, actually, I still owned property. So here I was living this life of non-attachment, but technically, I owned a home outright on another property that was warm and occupied with people that wanted me to be there. So I was still connected to people. I still had something there. And so the interesting thing is, as I detached and relinquished my property, people detached and relinquished me. And so I don't have property, and I don't have people either. So I was going back and I was reading the emails that I was sending home, and where I was at, I was in a very positive mindset, consistently. And I still am, but I'm definitely I've taken some hits and some shots over the years that are challenging me. But yeah, it gets me. Here I am looking at the operation of my mind 5 years ago, and it's like, well, how much of this is actually real, like the progress, and it's like, and how much am I, just creating my own reality? And it's the same for now. I mean, what am I telling myself now? What am I? So yeah, I've been very reflective. It's been a very reflective week, and I haven't been staying outside. So I ran into a shelter here called the Sunshine Rescue Mission 5 years ago. So I knew about it. So I went there, and nothing's really changed. It really is. So there's a lot of cool things about this place. This place left an impression on me as I had a positive experience there, and again too. Uh, but I mean, there's another side as well. But it's been cold in Flagstaff, and it got colder when I got here. So it snowed. I saw snow for the first time. There's still snow on the ground in the shadows. In the See that? Did you see? There's snow. Look at it. Snow. So I need to run away. I need to get out of here and somewhere warmer. So I'm leaving Flagstaff. And when I got here, I didn't even have a pair of pants. So I do have a pair of pants now. So that's cool. But yeah, I'm definitely not equipped for this temperature like through a night. So overnight is going to be, I mean, we'll see. It's going to be uncomfortable at the least. But we'll see. I mean, you never know how it works out. When I leave here, I mean, I could get picked up by anyone. A lot of people invite me in. I mean, you never know. I just go with the flow. And right now I'm feeling lighter. I'm feeling good. Like it was a week of reflection, and so there was a lot of energy. And I mean, if I look back on what I've lost, I mean, it's just it's devastating. But I do have hope. The one thing. So I found a book in one of those free libraries, like a little on the side of the sidewalk. It's called The One Thing. And you open it up. It says, "He who chases two rabbits catches neither rabbit." Russian proverb. But anyways, yeah, it really is about singular focus and focusing on the one thing. And what is the one thing? And so yeah, there's different ways to think about things. And what is the target? So I'm thinking of leaving tomorrow, and heading either strictly east or south to Sedona. I don't know. I mean, 5 years ago I went from here to Sedona. I didn't stay in Sedona for very long, but Sedona is quite unique. And I'm kind of leaning a little more towards Sedona at the moment, but we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. And if I wake up tomorrow and there's like a blizzard, well then I won't be going tomorrow. But the idea is today that I am leaving tomorrow I gotta get moving. I'm going stir crazy again. Being in the constraints of so the Sunshine Rescue Mission. There's a lot of positive things, but just being in an environment of uh, rules for rules' sake, and just people, so many people packed into such a small area, herded like animals and cattle, essentially. It's a challenge in itself, but also a good experience. And remarkable how peaceful it is, considering the sardine nature of the place. But my experience with people in Flagstaff, regardless of if they're homeless, whatever, has been quite positive. I haven't really made a lot of connections with a lot of people here, but I also really haven't been kind of looking. I've been hanging out up here on Mars Hill. So, we'll see what happens. I'll see you when I see you, if I see you. See ya. All right.
Vijana Eyana 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 O Vijana Vijana Eyana Eyana O Sema Kalawe Eke Shewon Kodalawe Aona tala me tala te yang no yo eta ana e ka o we ana he ana e ana e ana o we ana e ana e ana o. Okay, now